Xiaoxiao.
青春之声，跨越国界，共话未来。
Let us use the voice of youth.
Cross national borders and talk about the future together.
And I asked my dad, why Chinese? He said, because future is in China, because it's going to open so many new doors for you. 君不见，黄河之水天上来，奔流到海不复回。 Life should be lived to the fullest when fortune smiles. Let not the golden goblet stand empty before the moon. For example, showing China through my eyes, that it's a very peaceful country, it's a very harmonious country, as I show it in my videos on social media. 有朋自远方来，不亦乐乎。
Hello, I'm Chen Zhongrui. Welcome to Global Youth Echo, a conversation program focusing on international youth. Here you can hear young people from all over the world share their deep thoughts and brilliant moments in their respective fields. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, 小宇宙 Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we welcome likes, subscriptions, shares, and donations. Join us in listening to the sound of the international youth wave breaking.
这些年以来，我爱上了中国，北京和中国变成了我第二个家。我也梦生了一个新的愿望，那就是成为中国和白俄罗斯之间的文化交流使者，成为我们两个国家友谊的见证者与建设者。
If you only listen to the voice, you might think this is a native Chinese girl. But if you see your appearance, you will be amazed. This is a Belarusian girl who is proficient in Chinese and has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. And her name is Su Xiaoxiao. So today we are very honored to have Su Xiaoxiao as a guest on Global Youth Echo to talk about her story with China. Welcome, Su Xiaoxiao.
Hi, Zhongrui. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share my experience and my China story with you and our lovely audience.
Thank you, Xiaoxiao. Thank you again for coming. So, first, let's talk about your connection with China, which begins with language. So under the influence of your family environment, you developed a longing for China through language learning, I heard. And from entering the Confucius Institute in 2014 to formally coming into contact with Chinese to becoming the champion of the Belarusian Chinese bridge competition, your bond with Chinese and China continued to deepen, and language has also become an important bridge in your life development. So how did your family environment influence you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you were absolutely correct about my experience and my background. And I would like to introduce everyone why I started learning Chinese and how my family influenced me and inspired me to learn this beautiful yet very difficult language. So actually, my mom and dad both graduated from Minsk, Belarus capital, the best language university in the city, which is known to be Minsk State Linguistic University. And both of them majored in Spanish. So my mom and dad are actually fluent in Spanish and they speak Spanish as if they were native speakers. So that's amazing, right? And my mom also speaks German, my dad speaks English perfectly. So my parents always thought that learning languages can give you open doors to thousands of new opportunities in life, especially for young people. So they always encouraged me and my sister to learn English, Spanish. So we were, pretty international. We have a very open-minded, very international family. But then one day when I was going to middle school, my dad told me something that I will never forget. He told me that, Kate, my English name is Kate. So, Xiaoxiao, if you learn all of these European languages, that's kind of cool. But if you learn an Eastern language like Chinese, I will really I'd be proud of you because it's such a difficult language. It's so different from Spanish, German, or English. So he sparked that light in me. And I asked my dad, why Chinese? He said, because future is in China, because it's going to open so many new doors for you. And he told me and my sister, why don't you try learning it in the Confucius Institute? In the university that they went to, by the way. It's Confucius Institute in Minsk State Linguistic University. So my parents basically encouraged me and my sister to go and try. And I didn't know that this is going to be my lifetime endeavor. I started learning Chinese there just as a hobby, but then it turned out to be a life-changing moment for me because this is how my China dream started. This is how I really had a passion for a new language, new country in my life, a turning point in my life. So basically, that's how my mom and dad said that we should be learning Chinese. They saw that the future is in China and that we're going to have plenty of opportunities in this country.
So you definitely got the talent of learning languages from your parents.
Yeah, for sure.
But you also mentioned that although Chinese is beautiful, it is also very difficult. So did you encounter any difficulties while learning Chinese, and what do you think is the charm of Chinese?
Yeah, I would say that Chinese is probably the most difficult language in the world, maybe except for Russian and Arabic. I think that they're at the same level. So definitely, I think that Mandarin learners from all over the world have encountered the same issues that I did. For example, pronunciation was so hard in the beginning. Just starting with pinyin was so hard. The four tones like ah, 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 ah. And this was just the easiest part. I thought that it was so hard. But that was until we started learning Chinese characters. While I could deal with some reading, but writing was terrible. I hated writing Chinese characters because they were like, I couldn't understand how can this be a writing system in one country because we just have letters in Russian, right? So I was really shocked by all these characters and all the stroke order that we were supposed to learn. So this was kind of challenging, but I really loved it. And the most surprising part about it was that I actually loved it. I thought that it was so fun, that it was so engaging. I loved my Chinese teachers to the next classroom after being done with my classes. And this was really my passion from the very first year that I started. So it was kind of difficult. The characters were hard. The pronunciation was hard. Writing Chinese essays was hard. But I actually enjoyed it so much that I didn't care about these difficulties, you know? It was like love from the first sight.
So after you conquered these difficulties, you became pretty fluent in Chinese, and you went to took part in the Chinese bridge competition. And could you share some stories about it? When did you decide to take this competition, and why?
Yeah, so actually that's a great question, and I'm very thankful to Confucius Institute and to all the teachers. Chinese bridge competition is known to be Hanyu in Chinese, and it's a world Chinese bridge competition, world Chinese proficiency competition for people from countries coming from everywhere in the world. For Chinese learners who are interested in coming to China and showing their talents about China, their knowledge about China on the world stage. So my teacher told me about this competition, and she told me, Xiaoxiao, why don't you try applying for this? Why don't you try registering for this? And I was hesitant about it because my Chinese wasn't great. I wasn't that confident in my skills, but she inspired me and she told me, just give it a try. You know, it might be an interesting experience. So I did. I went in, I prepared my speech. We were preparing a lot of questions. We had to learn by heart lots of questions and prepare a talent show connected with Chinese, of course. And surprisingly, I won. I became champion of Belarus, which meant that I got a chance to go to China to represent my country on Chinese bridge stage, on the big stage of the world. And I represent my country on a very famous Chinese TV. So I was TV show. So I was amazed. I was excited. This was also an amazing chance. And what was really wonderful about it, I got a scholarship to come to study in China after becoming a champion of Belarus. So this was really making my dream come true, making my China dream come true, and making me closer to coming to China to complete my studies here. I've got a lot of friends who are actually very interested in learning Chinese. Now there is so-called Chinese fever in Belarus, because now we have Confucius Institutes all over the country, not just in Minsk, the capital, but also in other cities such as Grodno, Brest, Vitebsk, etc. And now I have a lot of friends who are interested in coming to China for work, for language exchange programs, for doing their masters here, for doing trade and business here. So I can say that now Chinese education is thriving in Belarus. It's really amazing how it changed over 10 years, because just 10 years ago when I started learning, it was pretty rare. It wasn't very common. You had to look for places where to go to study Chinese, but now it's all over the country. And the funny fact, when you arrive to Belarus, you see like 3 languages in the airport: Russian, Chinese, and English. So basically you can see how the collaboration and relationship, partnership of Belarus and China and new policies influenced the life of the common people and provide them with opportunities to learn this beautiful language.
And what kinds of lessons do you take other than, basic language learning and using?
Yeah, so Confucius Institute offers different courses. For example, I was just part of the Mandarin course, and you can pick other courses, right? They're usually very affordable. It's very cheap, just few $100s per semester. And you can learn Chinese. You can apply for, Chinese intermediate, advanced level, elementary level, and then there are also some speaking courses. And also there is a lot of free events, such as Chinese New Year or Lantern Festival or calligraphy classes, master classes. But these are more like events during the weekends or special holidays. Mostly they just offer courses like elementary, intermediate, and advanced Chinese.
And I heard that you took some lessons about traditional Chinese culture, for example, Chinese ancient poem. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically our teachers taught us a lot about Chinese poems, Chinese literature, Chinese arts, calligraphy. We were given introduction to basically the world, a whole new world, which is China. So we learned a little bit about everything, So I was very lucky.
Would you like to share a Chinese ancient poem that you like most?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love so many. There is so many beautiful Chinese poems, but I would like to share one very famous poem by Li Bai. He is a very well-known author in China, known as the god of poets, and I would like to recite his poem known as 将进酒, which means to bring in the wine. I will explain the English meaning a bit later, but now let me recite it in Chinese. 君不见，黄河之水片闪来，奔流到海不复回。君不见，高堂明鉴悲白发，朝如青丝暮成雪。人生得意须尽欢，莫视金樽空对月。The meaning of this poem in English is basically about enjoying life and living it to the fullest. So the whole translation in English would sound like this. Do you not see the waters of the Yellow River come down from the sky, rushing to the sea, never to return? Do you not see the bright mirror in the high hall reflects white hair, once black as silk in the morning, and now like snow by nightfall? Life should be lived to the fullest when fortune smiles. Let not the golden goblet stand empty before the moon. So this beautiful poem by Li Bai refers to the author's philosophy of enjoying life and living it to the fullest. And I like reading it whenever I'm feeling down or I'm feeling sad, because it really reminds us that we only have one life, which is so beautiful and so unique in many different colors, and also the beautiful nature surrounding us. Each and every one of us around us is so beautiful. So by reading this poem, I am reminded to look around myself, to notice the beautiful little things in life, and to enjoy it to the fullest. This poem uses very powerful imagery of nature and also the passage of time to emphasize that the nature of life is so short, and also the importance of living here and now, living in the moment. That's why I really like it.
Wow, I can tell that you are really fond of traditional Chinese culture and you have a very deep understanding of the ancient poems. And Xiaoxiao, now let's move forward from Confucius Institute to China's top universities. That's your journey in the past few years. So from your country to China, you were enrolled in Tsinghua University, majoring in international journalism. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that we're the same major, right? I majored in journalism during my bachelor's.
Yeah, and after that, you pursued a master's degree in international relations at Peking University's Yanqing Academy. So,
Exactly.
what were your initial feelings when you first entered Tsinghua and Peking universities, the two top universities in China?
When I came to Tsinghua University, I was just a kid who just graduated from high school. So I won't lie to you, it was like a whole new world for me, right? I never lived abroad on my own before going to Tsinghua, although I traveled to many countries. So it was completely new experience for me. Can you imagine this girl from Belarus, from Eastern Europe, coming to China, right? To such a huge country in the world. Everything was new to me. The people, the food, the life on campus, it was all like a dream. It was all like a dream come true. And what was really hard for me, I remember that the first semester, I couldn't use chopsticks. So I had to bring my fork and my knife to the canteen every day when I started my semester there. And also my Chinese wasn't that great. So I remember I was studying so hard at night in my dormitory, and me and my friends were ordering a lot of milk tea, like 一点点 or cocoa. So this was really something that saved my life during the first semester. It was very fun, but at the same time I was struggling because everything was in Chinese. And before I was in Belarus, everything was in Russian, right? And also I had to learn English, I had to learn Chinese, I had to take courses in Chinese and English. And also the campus life. In Belarus, we don't have campuses. In Belarus, we just live at home, or students live from other cities live in the dormitories, and they go to university, which is usually a 1 or 2 buildings. But on Tsinghua, we had our own city, we had our own town on campus. We used to play sports, we used to do sports together, take classes together. And for example, what was very new to me is, the collective mindset, 集体生活. It's very different from individual lifestyle in the West, in Europe, right? So we were doing so many things together. And that's what really bonded me with my classmates from China and other countries. And the whole experience was amazing. It helped me to grow up so much. And then when I went to Peking University, I was already, basically China was my home already. So I went there to experience a different university environment and to finish my degree in English because I wanted to improve my academic English. So I applied for Yanqing Academy, which is a very competitive program offering English taught courses for students from all over the world. So this was kind of, it emphasizes cross-culture communication. It emphasizes China and the world bridging together and learning about each other. So it was a very international, a very different experience from a master's program.
So speaking of Peking University's Yanqing Academy, it emphasizes cross-cultural communication and focusing on China and caring for the world. So how is this educational philosophy embodied in your practical learning? And is there any course or project that leave a deep impression on you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that this motto, focusing on China, caring for the world, perfectly describes the Yanqing Academy and this period of this institution. Basically, it's a beautiful philosophy, and it also has a lot to do, with what Confucius said, 有朋自远方来，不亦乐乎. And I could really feel that we as friends coming from afar, but here in China, we were feeling like it's our home. We were very welcomed here. We could visit many different provinces around China to study China, to understand China better. And the best part about it was our classes, our seminars, where we had a chance to talk in English with Chinese classmates and discuss many different topics such as Taoism, Buddhism, China-US relations, Chinese politics, Chinese philosophy, Chinese religion. And it was amazing how we got the chance to learn Chinese, but also showed how Chinese students are amazing and how their level went so high on the international stage. It was really stunning for me how most of them just studied in China, graduated from really good universities in China, but they were fluent in English. They could talk about very hard academic topics in English, and this was really inspiring for me. So one day I hope that my Chinese can reach to the same level, and I can also talk about this complicated academic issue in Chinese as fluently as my Chinese peers did. And the project that really left a deep impression on me was the Chinese society and Chinese religion. Chinese society, I got to learn a lot of different facts about Chinese society trends, about some of the societal issues and challenges. And the Chinese religion, I really got the chance to have a closer look at Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism, the Chinese wisdom, and I was really glad that I could learn about it in English, because learning in the Chinese is extremely difficult. So these courses were amazing, and I'm very thankful to Yanqing Academy for providing us with this platform where we could freely talk about a lot of issues and discuss China and the world, the relation between them. And this is certainly a bridging China and the world.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned you got a few classmates coming from different provinces in China. So did you have any opportunities to go to other provinces out of Beijing with your classmates?
Oh yeah, we had so many field trips. We had amazing field trip to Sichuan. We visited a very famous museum in China, Sanxingdui, about the Chinese ancient civilization. And we also got to learn about Chinese ancient irrigation system in Dujiangyan. And it's amazing how, ancient Chinese people came up with this technology so many years ago. We also got to visit Qingdao in Shandong, where we learned about Chinese literature, Chinese poets, about Chinese culture, and about also Chinese relations with the world. And also got to visit Hainan, where we were part of a very big conference about humanity. We talked about what does humanity mean and what does it mean to be, to connect as humans on political level, on international level. We talked about international relations and about the importance of fostering peaceful relations between different countries. So I'm very thankful because we got to visit so many parts in China.
Mm-hmm. So which province would you recommend to our audience who have not come to China yet to know more about China through one single province?
Yeah, I encourage everyone not to just focus on Beijing or Shanghai, because most of the foreigners know that Beijing is the capital and Shanghai is the very international city. But what I want to tell everyone is that China is so much more than that. China has so many different provinces, and it's so hard to recommend just one. But for example, I've just visited Anhui, and I was so inspired. I really didn't imagine that Huangshan mountain looks so beautiful. It looks like it's from the cartoon or from the movie, it doesn't seem real. So probably go to Anhui, or I would also recommend going to Hunan province with a very famous Zhangjiajie, where the Avatar movie was filmed, and to try out Chinese spicy cuisine. Spicy hot pot in Hunan won't leave you disappointed, as well as chou tofu, stinky tofu. and the beautiful and the vibrant nightlife that you can explore in Changsha is amazing.
Let's talk back to your university life. So, did you find any traditions or unique activities attractive at Tsinghua and Peking University that you feel particularly embody the essence of Chinese culture?
Yeah, so I think that the most beautiful part of my studying in Tsinghua and Peking University was experiencing collective mindset and collective lifestyle. So we had an opportunity to take part in so many events. For example, like we would, run together on the field. It was like part of our Tsinghua sports class. So I really loved that me and my classmates were doing lots of sports together, like running, taking some exams, and also like some events like New Year Gala, Chinese New Year Gala, and Christmas Gala night was amazing because we also got to experience our, foreign holidays while being here in Tsinghua or Peking. And I really liked all the gala nights, I was really impressed with the level of students singing and dancing, different performances. It was very high level. And also there were some performances with Chinese culture, like, Kung Fu or Tai Chi, etc., which showed Chinese culture as well.
Mm-hmm. So just now you talked about different festivals, different sceneries in China and your country and other countries. So during your study at Tsinghua and Peking University, how do you feel your cross-cultural communication skills have improved significantly? And how have these improvements helped your personal growth and future planning?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking, because actually while studying in China all these years, I had a chance to meet people from dozens of countries from all over the world. And what was a huge insight for me is that communication is key to success. Efficient communication is success not just in your professional life, but brings success in your personal life. So, for example, learning different mentalities, different cultures, and about what is okay in one country and what is not okay in our verbal language while being in another country can be very essential to understand people in general. If you understand how to talk to people and what people want to hear, you're basically halfway through your journey. You're basically halfway to your success. Because if you know how to communicate efficiently, then you'll probably know how to talk to people. This means that you will be really good in your career, whether you're a diplomat, journalist, or an engineer. So I think communication is the key to an efficient, successful, and happy life. I was very lucky because I could talk to teachers and professors from China, from the United States, Europe, Russia. So this was very helpful. And of course, talking to classmates coming from different provinces in China, etc. And I would say that cross-cultural communication skills, it's good to have some basic theory skills, but most important is to practice. Is to talk, understand people, be a good listener. If you're a good listener, then you're probably going to be a much better speaker. So these were the main lessons for me in this journey. And how they helped me? Well, these skills helped me immensely. For me, my communication skills helped me to become a TV reporter, a TV host, right? My language skills helped me with applying for jobs, getting a lot of good interviews for my internships. And in general, if I want to go back to my country or here, communication and language skills that I acquired in these years are crucial in me successfully getting those job opportunities. So I would say that this is a very essential and immense skill that I learned during my university years.
So in this early November, you participated in the Global Cultural Forum on Harmony, and you had the opportunity to present your views. So how do you understand the concept of harmony culture? Could you share with us? And what practical significance do you see in it?
So this was He Global Culture Forum in Taizhou in Zhejiang, and it was a very big conference held in early November this year. I was invited to speak at this conference as a social media influencer and to talk about my understanding of He or harmony culture, harmony global culture. So how do I understand the concept of harmony culture? I understand it that we're so different. We come from different backgrounds. We come from different civilizations, but we share one planet. We share one world. So we should peacefully coexist in this world. We should nurture friendship, peace, peaceful communication, but not wars, not sanctions, not trade wars, etc. And unfortunately, we see that in our world that we have nowadays, we don't have that much harmony in international relations. A lot of countries that used to be friends are enemies right now, and it's very sad to see, especially coming from Eastern Europe. So the harmony culture, when I thought about it, I thought that it's actually my dream to live in the He world, to live in the harmonious world. It has a huge practical significance because if we live in such harmonious world where we disagree, where we argue, where we have different worldviews, but we know how to talk, we actually make diplomacy work. This means that we're going to be very happy people, no matter if you come from Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, or Palestine, right? So, and this has huge practical significance because this means good life for the common people coming from all over the world, especially people coming from countries where the wars have been going on for years, or very developing countries like in the global south, right? So it has a huge significance. And we as young people, I say this a lot of times, we're not politicians, we are not diplomats. I'm not a president of any country, but through fostering dialogue, through, for example, showing China through my eyes that it's a very peaceful country, it's a very harmonious country, as I show it in my videos on social media, I can show to the world that you don't have to be afraid. You can come to this country, experience it for yourself, and then make your conclusions. And I think that this fosters He between different cultures, between different countries. And this fosters peaceful communication. This is what we need. We need to talk to each other, listen to each other, and make some conclusions, not fight, not have wars.
So you're making your own efforts as a Belarusian young person. And in 2023, that's last year, your country was accepted as a full member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So what practical impacts or opportunities has this change brought to you personally and to the Belarusian young community?
Yeah, so actually I'm so excited because it was this year, 2024, that Belarus has become a full member of SCO. I was very excited because I had my internship in SCO headquarters in Beijing here around 2.5 years ago. So this was a great news for me. It means a lot for my country, meaning that students will be able to come to China more often. There will be more scholarships and more policies for them to enjoy China through their studies. It also means that more Chinese students will go to Belarus, which fosters the exchanges, and also means that there will be more jobs for people with degrees from China or Belarus. So I can easily find a job if I have a Chinese degree. I go back to Belarus and I can get lots of different jobs with my Chinese degrees. Before it was a little bit more troublesome. Also, this means that there will be more infrastructure projects, economy projects such as 中百工业园, the China-Belarus Technology Park Great Stone, which is located in Belarus, not far from Minsk. And this means more jobs for the common people, so I'm more than happy. Of course, the official cooperation means a lot because this is where the policies are being made, but I think that we the people are benefiting a lot from this. And also, not just between Belarus and China, but also the whole community of the SCO is moving towards new policies where, for example, people from Belarus or China, Russia, or for example, Azerbaijan, also the member of Shanghai SCO, will be able to study in each other countries there is like this new project called Shanhe 大学 SCO University. They hope to establish it by year 2030, and meaning that people from all of these countries in SCO will be able to study in this university and have some really good scholarships, really good education, and no visas for them, meaning that it will be very accessible to go to this university and apply this degree to work in any of the members of the SCO. So it has huge practical impacts.